Welcome, everyone. This is Nichel Anderson. I'm your host for my podcast show, Surviving Your Journey Toward Success. Thank you so much for joining me today during my summer break that I take from June, July, and August. I will turn back in September for another season. In this regard, it will be my 5th season. All right. Can I get a woo-woo? And very excited about that. So thank you so much for joining me. And for those that has been following me for a while, I do appreciate your support. I ask you to continue to do so, as well as share this podcast or my previous episodes that I've done throughout the last 5 years and the future one I'm going to do, right? So I just want to say thank you for that. If you're just joining me, welcome. My podcast is geared towards helping my listeners to be motivated, to be inspired, to look at their lives in a way that they can find the strategies to help them to redirect and change the pathway that they're on, to have mental peace, joyfulness in their heart, to be able to create and lead their lives and not be burdened with anxiety or depression or anything like that. So that's my contribution that I want to do going back in the sense of giving, right? So before I start, I always like to say a prayer of being thankful and humble. And so in this day, I'm thankful to the prime creator of all things, that I give thanks for this blessing and opportunity, that I will use it for the greater good. So welcome, my survivors of the journey, our life journey, right? To my podcast that aims to inspire and motivate, that you will continue to have joyfulness in your heart. And if you don't have it, hopefully you will get it, right? To make you, to have that peace of mind and for your sustained success. I like to say sustain because I like people to keep the success and keep moving. And if it's not success, then we learn from the failures, right? And we move forward. So let's get into this. Using my summer break, since I'm on vacation from podcasting in a sense, but I do, like I say, like to drop, at least one episode a month. And I keep it short. That's the goal. And to be able to highlight some things, share some thoughts, and motivate all in the same regard. So today is basically an open discussion. And I'm just kind of focusing on just a part of some of the things that came about during my season 4 that I just wrapped up. And then I give you some thoughts to think about, motivational thoughts on that regard. So let's talk about the interview process. If you're interested in being a guest speaker, you can locate that application on my website, which is nichelanderson.com. You can just complete that and then we'll review it and then reach out to see if it's a fit of bringing you on the show. If you have any questions, you can contact me at info@nichelanderson.com. That's N as in Nicholas, ICHEL Anderson.com. And it's N as in Nicholas, and it's just ICHEL and then Anderson.com. All right. I also want to move on about my newsletter, to be a part of the group, to learn about different things that I'm doing and when I'm doing it, getting some discounts on my merchandise that you can purchase, like motivational t-shirts, motivational wall coverings that I have created that you can check out, as well as my books and stuff like that. You can just go to my website and you just sign up for the newsletter and you'll be a part of that list. Speaking of my books, I will mention more of that towards the end. But definitely, I do have books available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or any other book publisher. So let's go ahead and do like a quick recap on some future planned podcasts. And I do have some wonderful speakers that's going to be on the show for season 5. So I'm very excited about that. You'll end up getting the dates of when those interviews will be released. And I'm also definitely still planning on doing a live. I did my first one in season 4. And so I'm really looking forward to doing another live show. It really was, it really turned out really nice here on Podbean. And it was my first time doing it, and I'm managing and it came out really well. So definitely check that out. That's in February of 2021 if you want to listen in to one of my first live shows. So I have plans to do that again for season 5. Some of the guests, just to give a shout out to Audrey, if you want to check that out, it's audrey.com. If you're a podcaster or thinking about podcasting and you're thinking about going in a way of having guests interviews, I highly recommend that platform. It's free, and you definitely get the opportunity to meet all types of people around the world to help you, to network, to get guests. The last year I got really busy with a lot of guests, speakers that wanted to be on the show. So some of them I couldn't do in my season 4, and so I'm bringing them in my season 5. Right now it is going to be at least 90 days or so before I can actually put someone else on the roster, but definitely towards where fall starts, I'll be able to have some open slots going into the beginning of next year. But definitely still get your application in for my show in particular, just so I can get you on the roster. So that's important. All right, so let's look at some questions that I can answer. It says here, did you have another favorite podcast episode of season 4? I would say definitely February was my best here, where I had like educators from Ghana, and they were a part of that in focusing on the importance of reading. And I think that was one of my best, if I can name one, it was definitely that series there. And support the school and support Mr. Massey. That was one of the best. All right, and it said, why you feel your blueprint for success online. Now that blueprint course is for someone that I created. Right now it's not available. I need to double check that because we're updating my website, but basically that blueprint is for someone that's looking to get clarity of what they want to do in their life. Maybe they in the position of trying to change careers, which I am going to be releasing a podcast episode on that coming up in my season 5. So that blueprint is definitely for someone that's looking to direct their lives in a way they can move them forward. Maybe they're stuck. Maybe they just have so many different ideas and they just can't iron it out. So definitely that would be the right course for you that I created. And it's called Blueprint for Success. All right. And let's get to next what my thoughts to share this summer, my summer break 2021. The first one I want to share with you is that you should get some quiet time to just think and do what you love. And it's hard as we get busy, but plan at least 1 hour, preferably more. And you pick a day and you commit to that. And if you have to put it out a week from now, that you do it. And make sure you have your journal nearby so you can write down those thoughts of what you're thinking about, what you love to do, what makes you feel happy. Or maybe you haven't done it yet, but you'll be interested in it. Just thinking about it makes you happy. So whatever it is, don't worry about, well, I don't have the skill set, I don't have this. Just think about it and then write it down. The next thing, my thoughts during this summer is aim to listen to your needs of what brings mental peace. It could be reading a book this summer or learning something new, as I mentioned earlier. The goal is to take your time to enjoy that process. So the process of moving from, what I love to do. Okay, this is it. And the next thing, to expand on that and really take the process of achieving that goal. What are the steps for you to achieve that? And that's my thoughts for at least this month for my summer break to share with you. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up. You can purchase my books, as I mentioned, Corporate America, Surviving Your Journey to a Success. You can do that and get that either from Amazon or Barnes & Noble. If you already purchased my book, I do ask humbly if you will mind leaving a review. Hopefully I get a high star, and sharing how you implement some of the strategies that I put in that book. That book was led to naming the title for this podcast, where the podcast was all part of that journey. And of course, follow me on Twitter. That when really started it, my tweets that I did. And for my tweets, created these episodes of my podcast to expand on the motivational and the deep thinking and the analyzation of the choices that we make, the choices that other people make that impact us, and vice versa, into this podcast. So And definitely check out my website. Like I said, I do have a merchandise line if you want to support the podcast, as well as the mission and the message that I want to do. That in life, even though it's a journey and we have challenges, ups and downs, once we learn how to adapt and apply those strategies, you can get your mental peace. It can be in a way that is in balance, that you're not all the time filled with anxiety and worry. Even in this crazy world, there's an opportunity and it's a way out. And I hope to be a part of that collective to help, because we're on it together, this journey, and we can make it a much more less depressive or anxiety type experience and enjoy the fruits of life. All right. Thank you so much. Talk to you in the next one.